Assists on the offensive end. It all starts with number 23.
Averages, you saw that 20 points per game against West Virginia earlier this week. Did not score in the first half. Only attempted one field goal. Finished the game with 18 points.
And for Kansas State, there's no Dean Wade, the Big 12 preseason player of the year. That was expected. Who we did expect to see was Kamau Stokes. He is out today for the second game in a row. It's a foot injury, the same foot that he missed 7 games with last year, and he's held out for a second straight contest. No good from Jada attempt.
I mean, really a negative perfect storm, right? I mean, this is a Kansas State team, even with Stokes, have struggled almost historically to score. Just can't score the ball. And, boy, you don't ever want to come in and play Texas Tech's defense, even if you're a good offense. But if you're struggling and you don't have too little task for the Wildcats to score the basketball.
So with Kansas State missing about 25 points per game, who, if anybody, on the offensive end, or is it by committee, can step up and provide?
Right, you know, and not just the numbers. You see Dean Wade sitting on the bench. People forget Dean would be the best passing big man in the country, and K-State runs their offense through Dean Wade.
Point set up this afternoon, but Matt Mooney bags 3.
Bruce Weber wants to play this game in the high 40s, low 50s, and I don't think that's going to get it done. I think to win this game, they're going to need at least 55 points, and they're going to have to shoot up over 45%.
It almost sounds silly. In 2019, a coach would say high 40s, low 50s, but when you're missing what you're missing and you defend as well, you can win a game like that.
Well, and that's not the shot he wants. If they don't get a shot in transition, Bruce Weber wants 8-10 passes before they take a shot.
Here's a takeaway. Mike McGurl blocked from behind.
Almost slowed down a little, right? I mean, he got to the basket, and I don't know whether he was measuring his steps, but boy, did not finish very fast.
Here's Barry Brown Jr. He's the lone 1,000-point scorer playing today. They've got 3 of them, but with Stokes and Wade out, it'll be on Barry Brown's shoulders.
Charges, so don't go in there out of balance, off balance. Don't over penetrate and pitch the ball to the weak side. Now, you can't throw it at the guy's feet, but that's the right approach.
Kyler Edwards fading away and hits. Edwards, a freshman that the Red Raiders are really excited about.
A really good start offensively for the Red Raiders.
How will Kansas State break down this tenacious Texas Tech defense, one of the best defenses in all of college basketball? Shot clock winding down. Brown steps into a 3, leaves it. And you are seeing why early in this game just how good this Texas Tech defense is.
Well, they've taken 3 shots, and I'm not sure any of the 3 have really been a good shot at the basket. And boy, that is a
offensive.
He goes, look, it's not that we can't shoot, it's our shot selection. And so Bruce Weber wants his team to be more selective in the shots they take.
He found a way to get this Kansas State team to the Elite 8 a year ago. They returned 93% of that scoring, but large part of it out for today. The expectations were sky high for Kansas State, picked 2nd in the preseason poll. Edwards buries another. Texas Tech out to a high. The gate.
Yeah, just a perfect start for Texas Tech. And look, defensively, they throw a lot of things at you. And Mayween and the post players for K-State, when you catch that ball, you're going to get double teamed from the baseline weak side. And they're going to do that to try to force the turnovers.
Passing out of it this time leads to an open 3. He's off, no good from Cartier-Jada.
A nice box out by Matt Mooney.
Mooney weaving through everyone, leads to a Culver 3, uncontested, can't connect.
Well, K-State just needs a clean look at the basket. Jada had a nice look last time down, and you're just going to have to make those baskets.
Trying to get something going, they try inside. Shot clock continues to tick down. To 5, fading away. Brown Jr. rang it out. Kansas State still scoreless as we pass the opening 4 minutes here in Lubbock. Mooney up to Owens. Oh my! Almost Follows through it down, was fouled on the dunk.
Choice of words from Bob Huggins.
Moment for this program, the first ever win. But if you're Bob Huggins, you don't like celebrating like that early in the season.
Yeah, a second. That was my first reaction when I looked at it. But listen, building a program is more than just instilling a good offense and a good defensive scheme. It's about creating a culture. And that is the culture that Chris Beard has created. So a lot of coaches may say, hey, look, you know, no win is that good and no loss is as bad as it seems. But that is very much the social media savvy world.
Never won at West Virginia before. Our players knew it. Our staff knew it. To us, they're one of the pinnacle teams in our league. We're striving to get in the same neighborhood they live in. And so, you know, we enjoyed that.
So I think if you listen to Chris Beard, both coaches justified in their opinion.
Well, it was a perfect response from Chris Beard, right? I mean, he could have not taken the high road, and he showed the proper amount of deference to Bob Huggins, who Bob Huggins has earned it. Everyone on a Bob Huggins gets to say whatever he wants when he's asked a question, and he gets to have an opinion, and he can articulate the opinion. Chris Beard showed respect to Morgantown and won, and so that's why they celebrated.
For Chris Beard, you almost don't believe this is only his third year with how quickly he has been able to build this program. The Elite Eight last year, achieving another monumental win on the road to West Virginia. Tariq Owens, the follow slam, perfect position.
But you know, back to your point, a less mature coach would say, hey, guess what? Comment on your team. Don't comment on my team.
Totally.
This is my locker room, and we'll do what we want. And he didn't do that, and he was right not to do that.
And they have taken that form from Morgantown and brought it home. Another.
You better turn around and box out. K-State just needs something positive right now, right? Whether it's a run out, whether it's a, I don't know what it is, but right now they need something positive. You wonder how deflating it was for Kamau Stokes to have practiced yesterday, twice yesterday. Expectation was that he would play in this game, and then you come out and say he's sitting over on the bench.
Davide Moretti sinks the floater. It's now a 14-0 lead for Texas Tech. Kansas State can't buy a bucket. 8 Eastern on ESPN. Well, it took 6.5 minutes, but
Into the game. He is out on the floor, and boy, I tell you what, talk about mixed signals. First we heard he was going to play, and then we were told he is not going to play, and then here he is. Interesting.
He is on the court. Well, Reed, you went over literally 2 minutes before tip, and they told you he was out today.
This isn't, I don't want to overstate it and say it's desperation. But boy, I'm not sure I would warm a kid up, get him loose, and then sit him for 7 minutes if I was going to play him and then check him into the game. But maybe he was over on a bike. Maybe he was keeping it loose.
We did not see him lined up for that national anthem before tip-off, so he might have been still getting it loose.
Well, we were told he didn't dress.
Follow up and foul. The Kansas with the senior, because this is the same foot that he missed 7 games with a year ago.
Is to talk to him in practice after practice last night, and
he told us he was going to play.
He expected to play.
That's why we're so surprised when he was not in the starting lineup.
Now, who's not going to play is the preseason player of the year, Dean Wade, and boy, we saw him in warm-ups, and he looked pretty good shooting the ball.
What do you think of Kansas State here going with a little full court pressure? Almost causes a turnover.
Well, I think it's really good at
high. You see those two seniors both in the preseason all Big 12 team. They were picked second in the coaches poll.
Yeah, I mean, an Elite Eight run and you get your top 6 players back, almost 100% of every statistical category returning, and expectations off the chart.
Here's Stokes, forced a 3 there. Texas take on the run out. Up to Owens.
Tariq Owens blocked that. That's a tough guy to shoot over. Number 2 in the Big 12 in block shots.
Right beneath him.
Yeah, you know, the next 3 players, Edwards, Francis, and Corprew, they all average right at 7 points per game. So to your point, not only depth, but balance.
And here is Culver. Double team immediately comes, passes out of it. And Deshaun Corprew buries it.
Just his 9th made 3-point field goal of the season. Well, he shot that ball with a lot of confidence.
8 minutes have gone by in this first half. Kansas State looking for their first made field goal. All 3 points came from the foul line. Bodies flying in transition and a timeout taken. Back on the court, Chris Beard said it's all part of establishing the culture, the togetherness of this team.
You know, and as a fan and you're outside the program, you think of a culture as, well, what's your offensive scheme? What's your identity, defensive scheme? And it's more than that. And it's things like that that, you know, coaches so often emphasize that create a culture.
And that is why this team under Chris Beard, that was not just a flash in a pan. The Elite 8 run a year ago, this team with the culture that he has established in just 3 short years, this is sustained success that he has brought to Texas Tech.
Well, look, you say the same thing about Kansas State, right? I mean, that's the predicate, that's the tenacity and the mentality that the Wildcats play with. And right now we talk so much about how bad they are offensively. For crying out loud, they're 10-3. I mean, they don't have to be great shooting the ball. If they were just average, this team would be at an elite level.
Right now, they are 0 for 13 from the field. 0 for 13. Doesn't help that they're giving up offensive rebounds as well. Matt Mooney can't connect. Hey, Reed, when a team is 0 for 13 on the road, how do you get something going?
You get to the free throw line. You know, that's the best thing. That walked back into the doors in Lubbock. That has been his mantra, 4-1.
When he took this job, Reed, the expectations were not this. He has already exceeded those here in Lubbock.
Yeah, and then some.
And then some. And it's all coming together for the number 11 team in the country. Great feed inside. Francis can't make layup. And a foul on the rebound. Xavier Sneed was.
It's not that he waited 7 or 8 minutes before he checked in because maybe he was doing something to stay loose. But then to play a couple of minutes and go sit back down, that's tough on a foot.
There is no flow offensively right now for Kansas State. They've gone more than 10 minutes without a made basket. And
drawing a charge on Barry Brown, and in practice yesterday, Tariq Owens came out and he guarded somebody and he was hedging him, and Chris Beard stopped practice and he goes, "What are you doing? You're not just a big, you're athletic. You can defend anybody on the floor. Get down, square up, and play defense." And it was fascinating watching him talk to Tariq Owens about his mental approach to the defensive end.
The sophomore from Italy weaving through traffic. Francis can't knock down Bree. Big
pass.
Outlet pass. Chada catches up to it, and that's the basket for Kansas State, and it's an and one.
What a terrific outlet by Levi Stoddard. He got stopped. Look, you're not trying to pile on, right? But they come into this game 325th in scoring out of 351 Division I schools.
And yet somehow they've won 10 games against some really good opponents in that non-conference schedule.
I'm going to say it again. They don't need to be great shooting the ball.
No.
Just be average. And they're going to win a ton of basketball games.
And why is the defense? Again, purple jerseys flying on the floor looking for the turnover, and it's a jump ball. And it really is a mega game. The best 2 teams in college football, no doubt about it this season, Alabama and Clemson. Shot clock winding down. It was a 1. Culver had to let it fly. Kansas State trying to get more in transition. Unable to come up with anything there. Going to the half-court set now. Barry Brown Jr. Oh, what a to the hoop. 4 gray jerseys around him, and the senior found a way to get it to go.
Well, and so smart not to over-penetrate. He got to the paint, jump stop with very good body control, and a little bit of spark of life from Kansas.
Single-digit game. Only a 9-point lead for Texas Tech after a 14-0 start.
And that's what's so amazing about Kansas State, right? You look at all the numbers and the struggles, and their defense is going to keep them in every single basketball game.
Just looking for that offense to get going. An offensive rebound will certainly help. That's a great take for the freshman. Levi Stockard out of St. Louis, Missouri at Kansas State, San Jose.
But why?
Well, they love college football. They love the Tide and the Tigers.
I do too, but man, I sit on my sofa, a nice big screen TV to enjoy the game.
This game between two of the top 10 defenses in the entire country, and it has lived up to it. Texas Tech got the great start, a 14-0 run, but they have gone ice cold. They're now one of their last 10. So after the terrific start by Texas Tech, they were up 14-0 in this game. They've gone more than 4 minutes and 30 seconds without a bucket. And they've gone to a full court pressure here on the defensive end of the floor.
And you and I talked about, we thought one of the keys would be, can you make somebody beat you other than Jarrett Culver? So far, K-State doing that. He has 0 points so far in this game.
The Wildcats have cut this lead in half from 14 to 7. There's still plenty of time in this game.
Let me tell you who's made a difference. Levi Stockard. He came off the bench, got a great defensive rebound, threw an outlet for the first basket, and then going to that last break, got a great offensive rebound. But, you know, back to the same thing. When things go bad for K-State, it's usually because somebody took a bad shot.
Here's Tariq Owens. Stockard, great job defensively. Forces a three, but guess what? Davide Moretti drains it.
Stockard stopped Tariq Owens with his left arm. Tariq Owens was about to drop step over his left shoulder, and Stockard just put an arm against his waist and just stopped him.
And that was great defense, and yet a three still for Texas Tech, much needed.
You're a post guy and you're stuck. Where do you look? You look offside, and so very good discipline by Tariq Owens.
Moretti, the sharpshooter from Italy, his second three. 3 on the timer. Brown lets it fly to Johnny.
Good spacing right now.
Owens, not a three-point shooter. He's only made 2 on the season, but guess what? Offensive rebound, and Culver has his first basket from the hustle play.
Yeah, leads the team in scoring, assists, and rebounding, Jarrett Culver. Not sure why Tariq Owens took that shot. He's just 2 for 11 for the season behind the line. Chris Beard may have the same question for him here in a second.
Here's Kamau Stokes playing.
Beautiful.
Scoop to the hoop.
Man, the hesitation. He came off that on-the-ball screen and looked up at the rim, and the hesitation was beautiful.
I think the foot's okay.
Well, that was great.
Did not start this game because of a foot injury that they wanted to be cautious with, but tell you what, if that plays any indication, he looked A-okay.
Well, it was all set up by the hesitation earlier this week by Texas, and no Stokes and no Wade, and you just can't overstate the importance of having both of them, but certainly one of them.
They missed him for the first 7 minutes of this game, but he is back in and making a difference. Ball in his hands here.
Moving freely and all over the floor.
Xavier Sneed, he's yet to get going in this game.
He's moving. You know, I was so bummed when we thought he wasn't going to play, but he seems to be moving very freely.
Here's Culver on the move. Passes out of the double team. Both teams really using the shot clock.
Great defense.
Ticks down again and a foul called. Sean in the bonus for a 1-and-1. Moretti gets the first. He grew up playing basketball in Italy. Says the biggest difference from the Italian game and the American game, the details.
His dad was his coach. You can't say that. Right? You can't say, yeah, my old coach didn't do very good with the details.
Well, maybe Chris Beard is just exceptional in the details. Sorry, Dad.
That's a Thanksgiving Day conversation killer.
It bounces off. No, we expected defense from these two top 10 defensive teams in the country, and we are getting it. Another block.
Takes a tremendous amount of communication, not only on the guy defending the screener.
Kansas State has gotten.
And I think I'm not sure what they called that. It was a vertical contest, but the arm came down on the offensive player. If you're going to vertically contest as a secondary defender inside the restricted arc,
we're going to go into some offensive slumps, but if we can hang with them on the defensive end of the floor.
From the three-point line, 0 for 7. They should be down by 20 or 25 and been blown out of this arena. Instead, they're 5 shots down, right? I mean, they're just hanging in there. The tenacity and the defense of Kansas State keeping them in it.
And we've talked a lot about the culture that Chris Beard has built at Texas Tech, but it's very similar for Bruce Weber at Kansas State.
Kind of the same mentality, right?
Pride themselves on grinded out defensive side of the floor. And actually, the offense has been a lot better. How about that move? Cartier-Chata up and under the rim for 2.
Took that ball dribbling with his left hand, had his right forearm out. I thought he was going to get called for a push-off.
So since starting 0 of 14, the Wildcats have made 5 of their last 8. Going inside at only 6'3", Davide Moretti. He's having a really good game today. He's up to 9 points now. Perfect from the floor. Xavier Sneed for 3. Leaves it short. He's still scoreless. Thought we were going to have 3 made baskets for the first time in this game, back to back. Sneed on the defensive end, juked out by Mooney. Clock winding down, 5 seconds to shoot. Culver looking for Owen. Another takeaway by this Kansas State defense.
Great defense.
Now can they get some points, trying to cash in on the other end. Barry Brown Jr., 1,000-point scorer for the Wildcats, trying to give them a spark here at the end of the first half. Off the dribble, right down the lane, a lot of contact, nothing called. Kansas State gets the offensive rebound.
That's over and back.
And a shot clock violation, and never hit.
Back court, catch the ball in the air and land in the front court when you had possession in the front court. That should have been over and back.
Moretti passes off Owens. Got it. Tariq Owens has put Texas Tech back up by 14.
Tariq Owens can do a lot of different things. And that was a smooth-looking jump shot from the short corner.
This is his 3rd and final stop with college basketball. Started his career at Tennessee, then spent a couple of years with Chris Mullen at St. John's, and now Weber would agree with the point Stokes was making, because when we spoke to him around yesterday, he said we got to get it over to that weak side. That's exactly where Stokes was. Ball did not come that way, though. And a reach-in foul called on Chata and Texas.
Because you can't leave him alone, and Kamal Stokes and his teammates are switching those screens in effect.
Opportunity.
Look, we don't know how explosive he feels, but man, normal.
He looked great on that one drive.
Yeah. Maybe that was his point. Why are they going back to just one possession?
Now, Texas Tech is now doubling up Kansas State, 32-16. Stokes goes into a towed, great floater.
Beautiful. And the body control not to over-penetrate.
.45 seconds left of this first half. Texas Tech in control comfortably. Got out to a 14-0 lead, and they've done a nice job keeping the lead. It helped when Matt Mooney did drain a shot coming off the screen. Three seconds separating that shot clock to the game clock. Barry Brown draws a foul on the drive. Suffered in his career, it is impressive.
Coming in and out of the game a lot. You know, by Bruce Weber in the first half.
Shot clock is turned off here. Texas Tech trying to add to their 15-point lead. What has impressed you most about the Red Raiders of this first half?
You know, they started out so great, then they weathered a punch, but again, the consistency on the defensive end.
Moretti for 3. That's his first miss of this first half. Culver has an opportunity at the buzzer.
Pointer, you're shooting 23% on the road, and you're still in the game?
You are very much still in this game. Need more on the offensive end, though. Who do you turn to?
You know, I go to Stokes. I'm looking. Yeah, there he is. I also might get the ball inside to Mayween.
Right of cue. Kamau Stokes opens the scoring with a 3 in this second half.
If I'm Bruce Weber, that's what I talked about in the locker room. Kamau, if you're going to play, go play.
And an
but he's just been really inconsistent. Last 6 games, 4 points, 2 points, 4 points. Then he had 15. Then he had 4, and then he had 13. I see if I can't get him some touches here early.
It was about a year ago in this very building, January 7th, that he injured his foot, missed 7 games. It's that same foot that held him out of the Texas game at the midweek, kept him out of the starting lineup today, but it looks A-OK right now. And they've got back-to baskets in this second half. And Xavier Sneed, that's his first of the afternoon.
Great start, right? You touch the ball twice, get 2 good, clean looks at the basket, and force a turnover on the other end.
They've come out with that same defense that we saw in the first half. Shot clock winding down again on Texas Tech. Culver passes out of it. Moretti, he was so good in that first half. Can't get that to go. And how about the effort on the defensive end? Barry Brown Jr. all the way up to Sneed. A lot of contact. Power.
You can watch a lot of take for granted the fact that, hey, they're at risk of getting hurt too. I remember, and I'm going to go blank on his name, Jackson. I saw a game where a referee blew out his Achilles in a game. On the sidelines, and it's not unique here. There just isn't much room. You see Bruce Weber, he's standing there and he's got a foot on the floor and just not much room.
Chris Beard urging this Texas Tech sellout crowd into the game. The lead is dwindled to 9. Here's Moretti, the sophomore from Italy. Over to Culver, fellow sophomore. One-on-one with Barry Brown. Takes him on the drive. Culver. That is why Jarrett Culver is in the Big 12 Player of the Year conversation.
Well, can you play any better defense than Barry Brown just played?
Nope. Sneed keeps it alive for the Wildcats. The hustle from both of these teams has been outstanding throughout. Sneed dumps it off. McCall, a lot of contact. Nothing called, gets the basket anyway.
Well, only the second touch of the game for Mayween. He touched it early on, had a turnover. Just the second time he's touched the ball.
They need to get McCall Mayween more active in this game. His career high came against Kansas, 29 points, but he's yet to be consistent as they want. Got it done on the defensive end of the floor there.
Yeah, that looked ugly, but that was a good no call. As the officials would say, no call correct.
Sneed dumps it off to McCall Mayween again. Charge before the basket. Wave it. UG camp in Cairo, Egypt. His family was seeking escape from war-torn South Sudan. The parents of Mayween finally settled in Salt Lake City, Utah. He said he felt like he grew up American, but he didn't have the citizenship, so he took it on himself to study up. And this fall, he passed the test, just became a U.S. citizen, and that's something he's really proud of. That time could not get in front of Matt Mooney. Went around Mayween there for the hoop.
It's about the 3rd spectacular finish we've seen at the rim in this game.
Inside to Sneed, lost the handle. Kansas State trying to quiet this crowd. Here's Brown Jr. Great scoop to the hoop. Exactly what the Wildcats needed.
And drew a lot of contact. You know, he ran into Odiasi and
Paul Mayween on the defensive end. A run out for the Wildcats. And Sean Neal-Williams just lost the handle.
Out of bounds. Tremendous effort by Barry Brown.
Effort from both sides has been outstanding. And it really,
but your defense is predicated on effort, which should show up every night. You don't have to be in a rhythm. You don't have to have momentum. You just got to have the want to.
and both teams have brought it today. Remember, Kansas State, they were on as many as 14 in this game. They've cut it to single digits now and have the momentum in the second half. Explosive move by Brown, denied on
side by Tech. How about the game Barry Brown's having defensively?
And they have needed him to be every bit as good as that. Another defense, 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 another block. You can't say it enough, showing why these two teams are the top 10 in scoring defense in the entire country. You know, Chris Beard told us at shoot around today was going to have a March feel, a grinded out NCAA tournament feel. And it absolutely has.
Forgot, right? And that's the biggest compliment you can give these two guys. It's been a non-issue. To everybody except Rick.
And we're still thinking of him in the final 15 minutes of this game. Hope he's okay. Xavier Sneed looking to get into attack mode over the Stokes. How about the handles on Stokes? The feed inside. McCall the finish.
I think he's touched the ball 4 times and scored 3 times.
The sophomore who grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah, originally born in South Sudan. He has come alive in this second half, and the Wildcats have needed him to do it. And a great feed from Stokes as well. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Culver forced into action. Does he recognize it? No, off his leg. Didn't even get a shot off.
On the floor and getting him moving or throwing it to him posted up.
Last March, he had 29 points against Kansas. That time setting the screen. Easy basket for Barry Brown. And look at that. Just a 5-point game. Kansas State on the road missed their first 14 shots, and they're right in it here in Lubbock. Another hustle play. Waiting to see who has the basketball. Kansas. We saw from Kansas State in March on that Elite 8 run. Grind it out. Ugly offensively, but they wear you down with that D.
You know, I don't know what the word is, because I want to say look how resilient, but that almost doesn't do it justice, right? I mean, they've got no business being within 5 points in this game.
They forced Texas Tech into 12 turnovers in this game. And the offense has come alive in this second half. Here's Barry Brown again. That explosion, too much on it. McCall Maween keeps it alive. It'll stay with the Wild. Now, Barry Brown and Kamau Stokes, those two are penetrating with force in this second half.
Well, and an adjustment by Bruce Weber, right? I mean, everything is not sideline pick and rolls. It's a flat screen or a ball screen up high.
Goins denies Brown at the rim that time. Here are the Red Raiders in transition. Moretti, the Italian stallion, Davide Moretti, with his third 3 of the game.
The field goal percentage seems to be predicated on how good the defense is on the other end. And well, both teams heating up here in the second half, shooting the ball.
Inside, they try and find Maween again.
Low for Maween, trying to get him the ball.
On the inbound, they send it to Barry Brown. He's been really good off the explosive dribble in this second half. And a carry is the call there. Wave off the basket.
Good call.
We don't see a lot of them, though.
Don't see a lot of them. But if you do it and you look up and straighten up, then they're going to call that.
Lobbed inside, Tariq Goins. Touched it, and it's out of bounds. The official who was injured right at the start of the second half, his head went right into the shoulder of a substitute waiting to check in. So it's Jerry Pollard and Marquise Pettigrew, a 2-man crew the rest of the way.
A lot of dribbling.
Shot clock continues to wind down. Brown Straight away, can't stick it. And a foul called on the reach-ins. And so Texas Tech will get the ball, but not after this foul shot, which Barry Brown misses. So Brown getting 0 for 14 from the field, and yet here they are. Credit the great defense, just within 7 on the road here in Lubbock.
And good adjustments by Bruce Weber coming out of the locker room. He has changed the way they're attacking this defense, and they've done it successfully here to start the second half.
They go to the leading scorer, Jared Culver. He lost the handle. Barry Brown in transition. Fights off the contact. The basket was made to see Kansas State do even more in transition. It seems to be where they've been most successful tonight.
You know, I'm tempted to say yes, but the adjustments they've made are working, and I want to give the ball to Mayween if I'm K-State. Look, he's got a mismatch inside right now. Moretti on him.
It's a 6-inch height advantage for Mayween. Now they made the switch.
A smart play by Corprew to switch out on Mayween.
Stokes trying to use his miss. A ton of contact there. No whistle.
Good no call.
And the foul comes in on Stokes. Downloading the ESPN app or visiting ESPNplus.com. They've got everything. I woke up this morning, fired it up. I was watching the English soccer and the FA Cup. The way they play with the toughness and the energy on the defensive end.
It has been a really well officiated game, and that was before we went to a two-man rotation.
Rick Crawford falling injured at the beginning of that second half has forced us into a two-man crew. Jump ball call here. No, a timeout.
Situation, picked up the ball, they were trapped, had a clean 2-on-1 to the basket and failed to convert.
Here's McCall Mayween in the post and an offensive foul that he just passed his citizenship test and is a full American citizen born in South Sudan. His father is back in South Sudan as an ambassador, and they desperately need it. It's a war-torn country, and he doesn't get to see his dad all that often, but is very happy for the service he's providing.
I didn't say this earlier. That's a really cool story, right? You know, with all that's going on with immigration and staying away from all that, that's a really cool story in college basketball.
A special kid is how Kansas State described him to us. Moretti throws it up at the end of the buzzer. That's a shot clock violation. Just turnovers for Texas Tech, 9 of those in the second half. The Wildcats have clawed their way back into this game, still trailing by 7 on the road. Early in the Big 12 conference play season, it does not get any better than this. 2 of the best defenses in the entire country. 2 teams that went to the Elite 8 a year ago, and they have shown why in this game. Another tough finish inside. McCall Mayween has come alive.
A really good catch on a pass that was probably too low.
Culver pulls up from 3, leaves it short. He is 2 for 7 from the field. Mayween again. How about it? Oh, Mayween, back-to-back baskets.
Texas Tech's going to have to make an adjustment, right? I mean, they have run that play over and over and over again here in the second half.
And they forced the turnover on the other end. Kansas State with
half and adjustment at halftime, and Mayween has really provided a punch here in the second half. Texas Tech in a 2-3 zone.
It's one thing to tell you the great story about the citizenship and all that, but then to come out and play like he has to inspire in since it was 3-0. Texas Tech made that first 3 of the game with Matt Mooney, then went out to a 14.
The way this game started out. Tough kids.
Steve second is in a close game. Foul shooting matters. That's not good for Kansas State. They're one of the worst foul shooting teams in the country. Only 62% from the line this season. Moretti on the drive with Mayween in his face. Did not matter for the Italian. Great finish.
Moretti now with 14 points to lead all scores.
Davide Moretti, a breakout game here as Texas Tech and Kansas State have gone punch for punch through this second half. Cartier shot it for three. Left it short. Battle for the board. Mayween's got it. And a jump ball. Then they would go the last 8 minutes of this game without a timeout.
If he was aware of that, then that's tremendous coaching over there on the sideline to make the kids aware of it.
And Texas Tech only has 2 timeouts. Corner three. Can't connect. Brandon Francis, the transfer from Florida. That would have taken the roof off here in Lubbock. Open three for Sneed. No good. Not that time for Xavier Sneed. Would have cut it to a 1-point game. Culver in transition. And a foul called. Jared Culver, only 6 points today. 12 Player of the Year candidate. But you've really liked the way that Kansas State has taken him out of this game.
They've been great on him, right? I mean, he's frustrated, and he doesn't get frustrated easily. Still rebounding the ball well, has 7 rebounds. Texas Tech, no, I thought they were going to show 2-3 back in the man. You got to go back to that on the ball screen up top, yeah.
Right on cue. Would you like to see them do man or zone here down the stretch?
Yeah, I think they need to mix it up. If Mayween's not on, it seems to be working. Stockard doesn't roll as well as Mayween was.
Bounces out to Brown, who hits the three. We've 1-point game. Barry Brown Jr. delivers.
Only the second made 3-point field goal of the game for K-State. 2 for 14.
Moretti the answer. Got it! It's a career high for Davide Moretti. 17 points for the Italian. Stokes can't get that. Great save. Kansas State keeps it alive for the second straight possession. Goes underneath. Sneed denied by Tariq Owens.
Need to find Moretti, right?
He's got the hot hand, leads all scorers today with 17, ties a career high. Cross-court pass, risky, it pays off though. And here is Moretti, ball in his hand, shot clock winding down. This time Moretti on the drive, how about it? Scoop to the hoop, career high, Davide Moretti, 19 points, and Tex leads back to 6. Tariq Owens gets the ball, draws the foul.
Energy, and Tariq Owens with another great defensive play.
This crowd might get more excited on the defensive plays than the offensive plays.
A nice job by Chris Beard and his staff, recognizing that right now Moretti's got the hot hand and calling his number.
They kick it right back out to Moretti. Heat check. And did not connect.
Come on, you got to go back to Mayween. This on the ball screen with McCall Mayween.
All 8 points for the junior have come in this second half. That time setting a screen for Brown. Left it just short. Xavier Sneed conference play is here for everybody. And it just means more, the intensity, the rivalries. It's great stuff.
Tariq Owens goes to the bench, and he has made 3 or 4 really nice defensive plays.
Mooney foul shoot in St. John's. He's the 5th all-time St. John's leader in blocks.
Ready to go. The under 4 timeout. This is to get him a breather, and you know, the next dead ball, the TV timeout, and that gives him an extra rest. Yep, good call. Freedom of movement, and that time clearly
just the rest of the way. And we were told that just a warning, no technical. 1-1 for Kansas State. That's a home rim. Iron unkind for
into the game. 334th out of 351 teams in Division I basketball at the free throw line.
Shooting only 62% from the line on the season. At a premium, especially in a low-scoring game like this one. These games are won and lost at the foul line. And Culver misses the front end. Coming off the screen, hesitation, Stokes. 10 seconds on the shot clock. They go the McCall Mayween, why not? Bodying his way inside, nothing called. 3 on the shot clock, have to heave it, Stokes. No good. And Tariq, another monster rebound.
And another good box out.
And a foul called. Tariq Owens has been everything for Texas Tech in this second half. Big 12 this year. There is no easy win in this conference.
I mean, we say it every year, right? I mean, there is no. If the bottom league, as people anticipate, Oklahoma State and Baylor, you know, Baylor goes into Arizona and just beats the snot out of Arizona.
Texas Tech was 10 for 10 from the foul line. They've missed their last 4. It's an 8-point lead for the Red Raiders. There's the Red Raiders down the stretch here.
2-3 zone.
Gotta hurry. 2 seconds on the timer. Lost the hand. Texas Tech on the takeaway. And guess who? It's Moretti.
Yeah, nice adjustment coming out of that timeout.
Already a career high for the sophomore. 19 points tonight. He has fueled this Red Raiders in half. Turnover there off the hands of Owens. Jada trying to do it all himself, denied by Owens. Nice job getting back.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. He needs to catch that pass with 2 hands. I know it was away by Tariq Owens.
Kansas State, they cut this lead to 43-42, and Texas Tech is punched back with a 7-0 run. Final 3 minutes of this game. Here's the freshman, Sean Neal Williams draws the cut.
Williams to come in, and boy, they needed that basket.
And 10 of 18 today.
And Sean Neal Williams, that was only his 10th attempt of the season.
3-possession game, though, here in Lubbock. If you're Texas Tech, how do you close this one out?
You know, you got to keep going inside out, but Moretti's who's had the hot hand, and they usually have been finding him on the weak side open.
Leading scorer for Texas Tech, Jared Culver, foul call. The Lubbock native, he stayed home to play here for the Red Raiders. He's got all 3 of them, and the Texas Tech lead is back to 10. The roar of the crowd comes again as the Red Raiders D up, trying to protect this 10-point lead. Great cut, and Jada fouled. Go at it. Full breakdown. Sports Center after Clemson Duke on ESPN and the ESPN app.
We talked about at the beginning of this game that we didn't think Kansas State could play this game in the 40 win, and you and I speculated it would take 55 points to win this game, and it seems like that's going to be accurate.
Kansas State has left 9 foul shots empty, just 12 of 21.
And the question right now for Bruce Weber is, when do you start fouling and not allow? You don't do it now. The shot clock's down to 10.
Definitely playing this one out. And it's an offensive foul. Cuddy trying to pick the pocket of Cartier-Jada. Have to watch a technical violation. It's poked away, and Culver is fouled. Although we jinxed it.
And let's make sure we point out this isn't accidental, and this was the game plan, and Barry Bryant and his teammates are the reason that Jared Culver has struggled so much in this game.
Wildcats have to do what they failed to do all day. They've got to hurry offensively. Trailing by 9, open 3, Jada can't connect. That's one they needed. Mayween battling for the board. Which Offensively, that's what Kansas State has to do. They have drained the shot clock on every possession. Now they have to hurry. They do with Snead. Rattles in and out from three. Another offensive rebound, and Jada.
You're not wired for instant offense.
Two big foul shots for Kaveh Jada. He nails
Of his ankle.
And yet, the sophomore has stayed in the game.
Are you kidding me? The kind of game he is wearing low tops. I don't get it.
Maybe it's an Italian thing. As the sophomore from Bologna has a career high. That's a foul coming right across the body. So 2 shots coming for the freshman. Neither team has been great from the charity stripe, but Texas Tech 15-21 after 2 Tyler Edwards makes. Kansas State has to hurry now. Only a minute left, trailing by 9. And one battle once we're done here in Lubbock, and we're not finished yet. And one opportunity finished by Sean Neal. State right back in this game.
That's huge.
Do you foul immediately here, or do you?
I try to get a steal, and then if you don't get a steal, then foul.
Matt Mooney weaving between the double team. Tariq Owens, that was probably the guy you want to foul. And so the grad transfer from St. John steps to the line for 2. Got the first. Some things won't show up in the box score. The 8 rebounds and the 3 blocks will. But he is a hustle player. He fits perfectly with the day here for the Red Raiders. 8-point game. Pressure still relentless from the Texas Tech defense. Open 3. Jada off the mark. Battle for the board. The hustle plays have won this game for Texas Tech. There's another one.
Kansas State. It is going to be a knockdown, drag-out game, and it's exactly what it's been.
They have not rebuilt. They have reloaded this. Knocking on the door of college basketball's top 10. They have shown throughout the season that they are absolutely a top program. McCall Mayween again.
Really nice start to this season, and he may be one of those kids that has a breakout season that we're talking a lot about in the last 2.
There's a lot of basketball, but it would not surprise me if this Texas Tech team makes another run in March. They just have that DNA about them, grinding it out just like they did today. That's only the 3rd 3 all day. 3 of 22 for Kansas State, and it's too little too late.
3 of 22. If they can play the way they did in the second half, they're going to win a lot of games.
I mean, it is every day, every game, every day in the Big 12's a battle, but that's what's coming up. You go on the road to Texas and you hope Oklahoma and Iowa State. Another back-to-back threes for the first time today, and I'll say it again, just too little too late. You go 39 minutes with only 2 3
next 4 on the road.
And that is why you want the Big 12 preseason player of the year, Dean Wade. It does not get easier for Kansas State. They were picked 2nd in the Big 12 for good reason. They returned 93% of the swing from that team that made the Elite 8. But without their star player, it's tough in the Big 12. Texas Tech wins.